been told it's 6 p.m. So go ahead and call roll.
Mayor Grant,
Yes.
Dean,
Yes.
Jackson, Strong,
Can't hear over all the noise.
Yes.
Attorney Ed,
on mute.
Master at Arms.
She was
Is absent.
Thank you. Observe with me a moment of silence. This is released. Thank you. Thank you. Please join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. A copy of the Open Meetings Act is posted on the wall and entryway at the Stratford Public Library. It's also available in pamphlet form and at City Hall. And also, if you follow the link here in our agenda. Tonight's consent agenda has 4 items, but we will be only presenting 3 of them. We'll need to remove C, if you would, please. So I'll go over the other 3. A, approve the July 28th, 2026 regular meeting minutes and July 29th, 2026 and August 5th, 2026 budget workshop minutes. B, approve advertising in the Discover Northwest Nebraska Travel Guide for $300. And D, approve building permit as recommended by the Planning Commission for Dorian Julius at 141 Lynn Street for removal of a garden shed / chicken coop. Do I have a motion for approval?
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Dean, do I have a second?
I'll second. Motion.
Thank you, Gaston. Roll call.
Dean,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Strong,
Yes.
Thank you. We'll move on to reports, Park and Cemetery.
Yeah, so the park board has been working on our budget, and that's where we spent most of our time. However, we did have an opportunity to meet with Damon Parks for a look at the park and thinking about the fishing pond, the kids one, because it's such a cool thing and it just has filled in and silted in and doesn't have as much usefulness as it has been. So some of the Damon Parks folks brought to us an opportunity, and they're going to detail it out and hopefully give us a proposal to maybe make that a more useful little pond. So that was really good. Also, we're working on trees. So the community tree grant that we've got, we've had opportunities to go around and look at our trees on our main drags. So Main Street, First and Second Streets are our key byways, and so we wanted to make sure that if there are some snagged, dead trees and some things in there, we've had Joe Nickerson helping us identify those trees in particular that probably need 1 either removed or 2 pruned. And that was the good news to me, is that he said, wow, because I asked him, can we do some pruning while we're doing this? Because half of what he talks about is pruning. And he said, well, yeah, while we're doing it. And I said, oh good, we're gonna mark down trees for pruning. So I think some of you may have had somebody knocking on your door and talking about trees in front of your house. If you haven't, we're not quite done yet, but please call if you have questions. And I know the mayor has got lots of answers, and we'll be figuring out how we move forward and letting you guys all know, because obviously you're part of the city and we want you guys to be as filled in as we can be for getting these trees changed out. The nice part is trees that come out will be replaced. That's the other half of the grant. So we'll be planting for trees. People will be asked to take care of them for a couple of years. I mean, it'd be nice to have some really new growth going in, and they won't be the same old trees. I mean, they won't be the same elms and cottonwoods particularly. We're really trying to get a good variety of trees, and I think that's what's gonna be fun, so. Let's see, you've probably seen a little bit on the pool. We are really working hard to finish up the pool, and we're so excited that we've figured out that we have gotten the leak repaired. That was our testing phase. We're doing a little bit more testing on the pump is fine, but the heater will be tested this week. And we've got just a little bit more stuff that we need to do to get things put back together. But we're really working hard. People are so excited about it. So thank you very much for all of your support. I really appreciate it. Questions?
On the trees, so when are we looking at starting the removal?
So I was gonna ask, and Margaret, if you've got a time, either Thursday or Friday, I'd like to get together with our group and really put that time frame together. We've gone through the identification, most of the identification. And, so that's kind of up to our guys with the grant to sort that out. But I'm thinking this fall is what I was,
Yes, so the timeline of that grant, we were awarded $110,000, and we are also, with that award, we have deemed that we want to remove 30 of the most dangerous trees in our community. And with those 30, we'll have 30 planted in their place, and then we can plant a few more beyond that 30. Each one of the trees that we evaluate and that we've coming around, we do have a 16-item kind of checklist, I guess is maybe what you'd call it, but how we evaluate the tree, the health and wellness of the tree, its dangerous factors, its longevity, and that way we're ranking all those trees that we want to identify. I think we pulled about 50, 60 trees that we find most concerning, and then it'll be the top 30 most dangerous out of those that will be removed. So ultimately it's down to the formula and not anybody's personal opinion of which trees are selected. We did want to have backup trees in case somebody decided that they had something in their yard that they didn't want us to mess with, and we move on to the next tree on the list. Removal will happen this fall, and then we'll have an entire pruning schedule that happens this spring, and then I believe planting will happen next fall, if I remember correctly.
Do they have to be along the street, or can they be in an alley?
Now, if they choose a tree in your property, the tree that they plant just also has to be in your property.
Okay.
So if you had a tree that they removed in your front yard, you could decide to put it in your backyard, but it has to be on that same property.
Okay, but the trees you're looking at, are you looking at on the streets, or are they anywhere on the property?
We are trying to focus on our main byways. I mean, we have a plethora of trees that we could actually pick from.
Right.
The great thing about this grant is this is just the first round, and if we go through it in a lovely manner and we get this all figured out, we can apply again.
Okay.
And we definitely have enough trees to make that happen, to have plenty more to do another 30 if we get to that point. But we've chose all of Main Street, all of First Street, and then all of Second Street. And anything that from those streets we can see it, and that doesn't mean it has to be in the front yard. I mean, if it's dangerous in somebody's side yard or backyard and we can see it and it looks ginormous and dangerous, it will be charted and noted and decide, how dangerous it is. There are a couple other trees within a couple blocks over kind of by Paddock, the clinic in that area, some of the older stuff, that we do have concerns about. If there are trees in Crawford that someone believes are just as dangerous or have more of a urgency to them, feel free to call in and we can evaluate them. But everything we evaluate, we'll just take the top 30 most dangerous is what will be applied to that grant.
Cool.
So at the last SWAN meeting, I was informed that our tree dump is full.
Get it cleaned up, we got trees coming in.
Yes. As soon as we get some good snow, it'll get cleaned up, but
Awesome.
there's not gonna be room for these trees, so we need to
Okay.
find a place where we can dump them, where we can then later burn them.
sure, okay. I appreciate you
We'll
bringing
keep that
that
in
up.
mind
Yeah,
with our planning then.
The other question I have is, and when you prune them, are you just doing the cities, or are you doing the city and the sidewalk? I mean, the city street, or you're doing the sidewalk and the street? And then how high are you going off of each one? I don't even know.
So
if
we're
you
not
have-
pruning every single one. We'll evaluate so any tree that looks like they have real potential or they evaluate and that's a great tree, it just needs pruning, and that's all it needs. Those will also be evaluated and we'll prune however much money that we have accessible to, we'll probably prune the most 30 to 40 necessary trees. So it won't be every tree on those streets gets pruned. It will be the ones that need it the most, that would benefit the most from it on multiple
I understand,
levels of
but there
evaluation.
are trees that are over the sidewalk that need to be, are we doing the sidewalk too? When you
It'll
prune
be
them, are they
anything-
gonna be 8
anything that
foot
we can
high?
see from
How-
those streets.
How high are you going up with it? Are you going 13?
So most of the pruning will be fairly small.
Okay,
It'll be for the health of the tree as opposed to
okay.
right away is what it'll be. So it'll be pruning for the health of the tree as opposed to maybe making something easier to walk under.
Yes, good point.
And then too, during that pruning, we will have an educational
Yes.
event. We plan to have an event in the spring where individuals can come down and learn different techniques, what to know about, what to recognize in their own yard. So that way, if anything is not chosen in their yard, they can use those skills and take them home and do what we are unable to get to as a city.
Other questions? Thanks for helping.
You bet. Thank you, Jen. We'll move on to library.
Good evening, everyone. Some numbers to share from July, another great month. We had 495 patronages and visits, and a combined 384 circulation of materials, both physical and digital. So I'll talk more about the summer reading program in just a minute, but some of our upcoming events. Next Tuesday is going to be our upcoming trivia night. And that will be the theme of space and science. And so that'll be at 5 p.m. on August 18th. And then the monthly crochet knitting club, August 28th at 1:30 p.m. So that's time enough for the kids to get out of school too. And then the Friends will have their first meeting after a long summer hiatus on September 1st at noon. And then reading group will be September 4th at 12. And then the library will be closed for Labor Day, Monday the 7th of September. On to some more topical things. The search for the library aide is going well. We received 4 applicants, and we're presently processing those and assessing them at the moment. So we're hoping in the next week or so to begin, or to make a selection and begin their training in accordance with the council's prior approval. Otherwise, the NLC improvement grant that allowed us the means to replace all of our old desktop computers with laptops, those have all been swapped in at this point. So we are now in the modern era of computing in terms of being able to keep up with operating systems, security protocols, speed that our patrons deserve and that kind of thing. But they're really beautiful systems that will serve us really well, not just where they're parked at the moment in the computer lab, but also as potential classroom environments because their laptops are much more mobile. So we could have a how to do an Excel workshop kind of thing, have it all in the middle of the room. But that grant was made possible through the Nebraska Library Commission, and it was over $3,800 in value worth of equipment. So we're very grateful to them for awarding us that grant. And then I'll conclude with how the summer reading program went. We ended up having 32 participants, which is about 4 more than last year, ranging in age from age 1 to 81. And of the reported reading, only about 1/5 of the reading logs were turned in, but of the reported reading, there was 192 hours, or the equivalent of 19,200 pages worth of reading in 2 months. So very impressive efforts, especially on our child participants. And of the 16 different events, there was 133 attendances to them. Of the most popular were our story times and our craft events as well. So unless there's any questions for me, that concludes my report.
Thank you. Golf?
We met last Thursday, and pretty uneventful meeting. Got tournaments coming up. It's a busy time of the year. We were able to get the water turned back on, fill the pond back up, but it's really dry. So I think he's focusing on watering tee boxes and greens. And the other thing is Fred told us that he will not be, for health reasons, he will not be, reapplying next year. And that's it.
All right, thank you. We'll go ahead and move on to ordinances and resolutions. We've got two items here. We're gonna move item number 7 to 18. So, we're gonna make note of that now. Number 6, discuss, approve, disapprove resolution 2026-20 for surplus sale. This has come up a couple times, and we've had some things to iron out. Council, do you feel like we have it in a working order where we're able to accept it and move forward, or what would you like to see done?
I think I'm good with it.
So do we wanna get everything moved into one location? Probably the building down by the entrance of the park.
Yeah. Yep.
And Carrie's not here tonight. I haven't had a chance to go to the old hospital and look through what's down there. There is a bunch of stuff that is city owned.
The clinic has argued with that everything that is down there now is theirs.
And that's fine too. I don't really care.
Yeah.
I know they've done a lot of cleaning in the this summer they did too, last fall and this summer, so there might be a lot less down there than what we recall, so.
So the only, I guess even the old street sweeper, you wanna move it down there, you wanna leave it where it's at?
You can buy it for,
I've been told by many people that engine is worth,
oh, I'm sure, probably could be scrapped out, I guess, there's only gonna get out of it.
okay?
Yeah, I would just tell them what location's at. Says that.
Okay. So, yeah, and after thinking about it, I think that flatbed pickup, it's cost us so much in putting, clutches in it, I think I'm ready to just get rid of it.
And we have that listed on here still, right? We were debating on whether to remove it.
Yeah, it's this with the, it's the
F-250.
Ford F-250 with the Meyer plow.
Question mark, okay. So the plow is going with it?
Yes.
Yeah, they're pretty much set up for the
Yeah.
pickup, so, yeah.
Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
Now there is, from the hailstorm a few years ago, there's a pile of steel out at the golf course that, I don't know why it's there. It needs to go as well.
Well, we've got a scrap iron pile at the street, so you can put them together unless the golf course wants their share of it.
People would buy that for windbreak or a
Sure.
fence.
I don't need it, that's not what I'm talking about.
So, I don't know, it's whatever you wanna do there.
I guess I'm not sure of that one, Chris.
It's not on here because we never got a list from the golf course.
Just approve the list you're having.
That's
That's
where
where
they're
they're at.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just approve this one. So, we kicked it down the road now.
It's a pile about that high.
Moving everything out, like the golf course, and fill it, with the balloon building,
We're taking that down, not selling.
we are taking that, we're gonna take it down.
Those are opening bids today.
Okay, so no. We were moving it down there.
The 12 gauge, I guess is still out there, I thought we had to sell that. I'm sorry, Diane. I'm sorry.
Say that again? We're good?
I'm sorry, I didn't.
You
So
said-
that, we're gonna have to contact the FFL.
Right,
to-
we can't sell that on the surplus, they don't have to be, I thought that was taken off places.
So you still have to surplus it, but you'll have to sell it separately.
Separately, okay. Well, that needs to be.
We're just listing the surplus.
Just surplus.
Okay, so I move to approve the surplus sale,
Okay,
all items that
as is.
are as is.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Dean. Roll call.
Ron,
Yes.
Dean,
Yes.
Gaston.
Thank you. We will move to new business. Number 8, accept the resignation of Dennis Croats effective August 14th, 2026. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Dean and then Ron. And roll call.
Dean,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Gaston.
Thank you. Number 9, discuss, approve, disapprove advertising for a grade 3 water and grade 2 wastewater operator.
Make that motion.
I think we should
Oh, yeah.
include, Indeed.
Yes, yeah. I take that back. Got ahead of myself.
You're good.
Yes, go ahead, Chris.
Well, and, we are kind of missing out. We need to develop some sort of advertising policy to utilize social media as well.
I spoke to City Hall already again, and that was the intention for it to be that way, but between the changeovers that we've had, that's not been as consistent as we'd like it to be, so we're working on that again. Whether you guys deem it or not, it will be on the website and Facebook, because those are both free.
Okay. Well, with that being said, then I move that we
Include all
include
our normal advertising plus,
So Indeed, the Crawford Clipper,
do we advertise on Shadrach?
I think we have in the past, but it depends on which ones we pick. Would you like to include that in
Yes.
the Shadrach? Okay,
I think, whatever.
so those 3, our website,
Our website.
I think for free, you can put it on the rural water thing too.
Okay.
and Facebook's got a Crawford page too.
yes. So we can do it on the water, okay, with those provided, is that a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Ron, okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Gaston, thank you, roll call.
Ron,
Yes.
Gaston.
Yes.
Dean,
Yes.
Thank you. Next is discuss, approve, disapprove transportation and parking requests for the Traveling Vietnam Wall event presented by Mr. Roger Campbell. Coming up soon, isn't it, Roger?
Thank you. I need to introduce a new resolution, 2026-24, where we're asking the city council to call for 10 days of significant rain. So,
We got.
We'll get that penciled in.
Nobody told us we had a copper.
Well, no wonder we didn't have any. We forgot to put it on the agenda.
well, it would be nice if we could just do it.
We put it on there a couple times.
You know,
That's all good.
You know, in, I think it was like January the 15th of 2025, we started the process to bring the Traveling Vietnam Wall to Crawford. So it's been quite a while, and we're to the point now where we're just 3 weeks away from it actually happening. And one of the things that we're finding out is there's just a lot of little details that need to be cleaned up at the last minute. And one of them is the 2 things that I'd like to speak about tonight. We have decided that the grand marshals for our escort parade are going to be Vietnam veterans. We're going to be honoring all of the veterans in our whole process, but we want to make this special for the Vietnam vets since it's the Vietnam Wall. So we've sent out invitations to as many of the Vietnam vets as we've been able to identify, and we're asking them to serve as grand marshals. One of the things that we'd like to do is to include some into the escort parade coming all the way from Whitney. And that's why we'd like to ask to use the city transportation bus, because I believe it holds 12 people and 2 wheelchairs possibly. Honestly, we don't have any idea how many people are going to say, yes, I'll agree to be there, or, so, I mean, I can't tell you whether we'll have 30 or whether we'll have 3 or we want as many as we can. But we, if possible, we'd like to have 12 or maybe 14 ride in that transportation bus. They would be in the escort parade. They would come into to Crawford. When we get to Wesco, we're going to have the trolley cart from the fort pulled by Lori Miller's husband. And we're asking all of the other Vietnam veterans to join us at that point and be in that trolley cart. And then they would join in the escort and we'd come on down and they would go down 2nd Avenue over to Main, up to 1st and be honored that way. And, we're only gonna go very slowly. We wouldn't go fast. You can't go fast with that trolley cart. But it'll give us an opportunity to honor all them. So we would like to ask for the transportation bus and the driver. I put on the request 8 to 12, but it's really, we probably need it like from 8:30 to about 11:30. So that's number one. And then the second request is many of the escort participants are going to be motorcycle riders. And again, I can't tell you whether we'll have 50 or whether we'll have 500. But one of the situations that we worry about is they cannot park their bikes in soft turf, like over on the field west of the balloon building. So I was requesting, is it possible, and I don't even know how to go about this, whether you have to okay it and then I go to Dawes County Sheriff or what we do. But we're thinking on the west lane of First Street, from the Villa parking lot south to the sign in front of the community building. If we could close that lane off and park bikes sort of at an angle like they do at Sturgis. And also on Reed Street, on the northbound side, on the north side, avoiding all the driveways and everything, of course, we would have to do that. But I have no other idea where we can put the motorcycles that are gonna be here, so. Those are my two requests. I drew it up and I can leave that with you of what I'm asking. And I don't know whether you have any questions or not.
I don't know, parking, I mean, that's a city street, there's plenty of room there on First for them to park perpendicular against the street. I don't think that should be an issue. I don't, my question to you would be how much traffic is gonna be on, I mean, maybe you wanna close the whole thing down. How much traffic is actually gonna be on First Street?
Well, on the escort, as soon as we come past that area, the motorcycles will drop off and the escort truck and trailer will go on around and come into the ball field. So everybody's gonna park.
Yeah.
For maybe 3 hours until we get to Walla.
Yeah, that's,
After that, I mean, I know there's still gonna be motorcycles, but they'll probably just have to fend for themselves on them.
yeah, I don't know how you would monitor that, shutting that down anyway. And then the other thing, the question is on the school, on the bus, we have a school schedule in the morning, would that
We should be able to work around that.
work that out?
Pretty close.
You said about 8:30 is when you need it?
Yeah, cause she'll be able to drop off the
We
first
pick
round of
people
preschool.
up probably at the community building, that are gonna ride in that bus and go on up to the Whitney Spur.
So you wanna meet them at 8:30 is what you're thinking, then go out there, or you wanna meet out there at 8:30?
Well, it'd probably be best to meet them here,
At 8:30,
yeah, because the escort starts forming around 9.
Okay.
And then we leave exactly at 10 o'clock,
okay, I
so
just don't see that being a.
That shouldn't be a problem.
we
And Tony
hope to
gets
be
stuff.
in Crawford around 10:40.
And Tony gets stuff. So
She was coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't see that.
That should work around. The only thing it might run into is if when the morning class of preschool gets out, that's about 11:30, if they need to go home. But by then, we should have our second driver with our van that can help with that if she's tied up with the bus.
Well, once you get them delivered, you won't need the bus any longer,
No.
though, right?
Once we get here and they
Right, so
disembark, we.
11:30.
But just in case there's
Right,
overlap, and
right.
we will have our second
Yeah,
driver by then
second.
and the second van, so they should be able to help with, morning preschool going home and afternoon preschool being picked up and meals. So we should be okay at that time, and this is all stuff that was, Tani, she gave her blessing to, from her perspective.
Except for the fact that it's under our contract with the state and the feds, we can't give free rides.
What do you mean by that? Cause this isn't necessarily, I mean, this would be really similar to using the bus in the parade.
I'm willing to pay the bus fee if that's what it's gonna take to do it, so, I mean, I'm willing. Yeah, I don't think that's, we got ways around that.
Yeah, we can, I mean, if we need to come up with a donation or
That's a
something
technicality. We
to
can
pay
do.
for the riders or something, we could do that, but I guess I would assume that it's be really similar to, yeah, parade or special
I
parade.
think this is a great thing.
We have an event liability policy also for the entire operation.
We can reach out to the state if it makes you comfortable, but I don't think that we have. It's far from what,
How much parking would be available on Reed, though?
not a lot, Reed's
Not a lot.
pretty narrow.
Yeah.
First Street, I mean, just, if we use just the west side, the west parking lane of First, we should be able to block that off with cones and it would just be
Yeah,
fine.
we'd probably just use Super's driveway.
They don't care.
Right after we get yours sold.
Yeah.
We can come in the back door.
All is welcome.
There'll be a slight tweak.
Is there any other questions, Diane?
Any other questions?
I guess we've talked about it before, but we really need to get, I don't know, how much mowing is there to do in the park these days? With as dry as it is, but we need to get that property over there mowed.
Oh, the Wayland Building property, so it's short enough that when people drive on it, we're not starting fires in it.
Yeah.
We used to run a bush hog or something across that thing instead of our mowers, it's be rougher.
What happens, I think, is, well, we've been working with you guys all along, but yeah, he's, I think, scheduled that into his thought process.
Okay. Wonderful.
I'll make motion to approve, the use of the handy bus, and, I don't think we need to really get approval for parking, I don't think that needs to be an issue.
You can,
Do you wanna close that off? though?
well, I don't know that you necessarily need to close the entire street, but if you closed off just the parking lane, we could cone it out.
I
That
can
way it's
take a
obvious.
packet to the Dodge County Sheriff and
Well, they close it, Roger, so they.
The city will close
They
it.
can close the south.
South, we have that
Many
south.
cones.
There's enough there that it wouldn't, it's not, I mean, you wouldn't have to.
It's parking anyway, if somebody's gonna park there.
Right, they get
So
parked there anyway.
Right. As long as we've got, we could have reserved parking, we could put a sign for that. I don't know, really.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I approve.
Do it this way.
No, they'll park, you're right, yeah, they'll park perpendicular, right, yes. That's why you park the bike, so.
Yeah, but that's a little wider than the car. so
Yeah,
you're fine.
I just,
the parking lot in front of the community building we're gonna use for handicap parking and.
Right.
And we can help them get out of their cars and get over to the wall.
So I just reserve it.
well, let's reserve it from,
Because we could do the entrance of,
from Ponderosa Villa,
the
right?
entrance of the parking lot all the way to Ponderosa
All
Villa.
the way to Ponderosa Villa, and that's the part you want. You don't want further south up the hill then?
Yeah.
You don't want further south up the hill
Well,
from the community hall on up? I mean,
It might be better just to do all of First Street
I
from
would,
the highway
this is
to
what I'm
Ponderosa.
wondering, yeah.
Because
today
it's
a
got
press
more room
release
than
went
Reed
out
Street.
to
Right.
almost every newspaper and radio and TV station in the state. And we had 3 calls this afternoon saying, how do we get there and how do we participate? So I mean,
Ride your bike?
if,
Yeah, just all
I
of
think
First
we-
from the
yeah,
highway
I
to
think-
Ponderosa.
Yes, I feel better about that. Let's do it from Highway 20 on First Street, all the way down to Ponderosa.
okay,
and we'll just have it all on that one street, and that way we're not affecting Reed Street or anything,
Yeah.
if that's okay with
That's
everybody.
fine.
Is that both
On
sides
the
of the
high
street?
school bus is
No,
gonna
just
be
the west
working
side,
in
Just
the
west
park
side, yeah.
to release the kids, the high school buses
Yeah,
that come from
they're,
Crawford.
they're coming down, they can either drop them off right there at the, at Reed, and they can walk down, or they can pull up toward the fire hall. And at the very beginning of that entrance, it's just slightly sloped.
Mhm.
They could unload there and come down through the field and head there. And then the school buses and vans are gonna park over by the fire department. To the east of the fire department, there's a gravel lot there that Brian wants us to park in.
No, that's fine.
Right.
Okay.
Brian Foster, yes. Okay, so, Ron has made the motion to approve the, proposed transportation and parking request. Do I have a second?
On First Street.
Yes.
I'll second.
Dean, second. Roll call.
Ron,
Yes.
Dean,
Yes.
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 Thank you.
All right, thank you, Roger. Number 11, discuss, approve, disapprove, creation of an activity complex board to oversee managed motocross, Wasipi, mud truck, rifle range, and rodeo grounds, and to improve, promote, pursue new events and activities.
Have you talked to those boards yet? Have you talked to these boards involved in this?
To the boards?
Yeah. The motocross people, Wachipi people, the mud truck, rifle range.
They will all be included.
No, I mean, have you talked to them before this?
A couple of them, yes. Yes.
You guys must need another job.
So what this is more of a management board. This isn't a venue board, or to bring venues in, not to run it per se, or to oversee it, but to bring venues in and to fix up that property and to maintain it. It's come in a lot of disrepair in the last couple of years, and we don't have a lot of venues. I think there are venues that are lost to it. There's so much possibility out there. There's a motocross out there. There is mud racing out there. There's a rifle range out there. We've got Frisbee area. We've got Wachipi grounds. We've got the rodeo grounds. And what this board would do would be to pursue bringing new venues into town to utilize the property, and hopefully to bring more business into town in so doing so. And doing that, we'd have money generated to fix some of this up that needs to be. We've got, a bathroom that needs to be addressed. We've got the rodeo building. You can kick in anytime here, Doug.
Well, yeah, and a part of it's gonna be, one of my things about it was, like the bleachers. There was nobody to oversee what was going on. So one guy come in and said, hey, let's condemn them. There was nothing wrong with them. Time they tore them out, they figured out there's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
If we've got a committee that oversees that, that wouldn't happen.
Okay, well, we have to correct you, they were condemned by
They were condemned by
engineers,
an
so you
engineer.
can't say that there was
Well,
nothing wrong
okay.
with them. But I can understand the perspective that you're trying to bring
But that's what
forward.
I'm trying to say,
Correct.
somebody to
But we
oversee
can't
things.
say that there was nothing wrong with them,
Right.
because they were condemned. They
But-
might not have been as worse off as maybe one would intend, or
Right.
that might not have been the emergency it was originally thought, but they were condemned.
But
But I think as Brian was trying to say, and I think he said vendor or not vendor, but, venue quite a few times, I think he meant event. But I think a lot of what we have is not used to the potential of what it is, and
Right.
we're not gonna be able to afford to upkeep any of that area that we have been deemed responsible by the state to take care of and manage if we don't draw more events. And so the idea of this board is to help those other independent groups that run all these things, to be the board, to help them. They've got somebody to come forward and say, hey, we've got this as an idea or whatever, or maybe even the board says, hey, we've got somebody that's interested in running this event on your area or whatnot, and they can run in conjunction to make more things happen out there, so that we use those grounds, and therefore they generate more funds and they pay for themselves as opposed to be a liability to the city.
yeah, the board's main responsibility is to advertise and to maintain
and to upgrade the property. That's what we wanna see it, is to make sure that it gets better, and to be utilized. And it's not to run anything, but to reach out to, whether it be the Nebraska Barrel Racing Association, or dog trials, or a shooting contest, or whatever it be, whatever venue they decide that they find that say, hey, this will fit perfect for our area. We'd love to have your company come in, or your group come in and put on your deal here and promote the area. So that's what.
Yeah. One thing I would like to see is somebody on this board for each one of the rifle range, the rodeo grounds, the mud tracks that are,
To represent.
yeah, would represent, I mean, that way you don't have a cowboy telling
Right.
somebody how to do his mud racing. I mean, you know, because if you could have somebody on the board for each one of them things, then they're gonna promote their motorcycle race, their mud deal, their trap shoot.
Yeah.
You know, it would be better to have somebody from each one of them.
I think Doug made a great point too, that we'll make this local, we'll make this in Sioux and Dawes County. You have to be reside within the area, so you have a vested interest in the area and seeing it improve. So.
And that is one good thing about this being a board that the council wants to create, where it's not a board that we're required to have. We can go outside of city limits. A lot of the boards that the city's required to have, we can't have board members that are outside of city limits. So this board would actually have the opportunity to have people outside of city limits. We've got quite a few of them.
We're regional.
Yeah, that do have a lot of interest in this community, and they wanna see it survive and thrive. And it would give them an opportunity to serve. So we wouldn't be as restricted as we are with most of our city boards.
Is there open ground up in that area? I went to the bump and run race in Hemingford last weekend, and there was 60 vehicles, 60 cars entered in it at $50 a head. That's $3,000 just from the drivers, and then it's $10 per head up in the stands. Is there more ground available to maybe think about bringing that here, or?
That's
Because
kind of a,
it's growing so fast.
sure. So one thing that we try and be mindful of is that we don't compete with Shattern, and they do their due diligence to not compete with us. Shattern does have a bump and run during
Well,
their
it doesn't
fair.
have to be the same weekend.
Agreed. I mean, that's asking for trouble, because you won't have anybody anywhere if you put it at the same time. But also too, like, they are able to use their rodeo ground and what they use for Tough Truck also for the bump and run. We would not be able to do that in our
Well,
facility.
Like up above, like right at the fort property by the old bathrooms, between the old, are those bathrooms, the brown buildings up there above the rodeo grounds, is that what those are?
There is a full,
From the
a full
bathrooms
event
over
building.
to north up to the actual mud.
So yeah, there is the mud track up
Is
there,
there-
and then there's a space between there.
Is there maybe ground available in the future?
That's a
It would depend on what you had in
So
mind.
this is an example of why they're thinking about creating this board. This board could explore the possibility of an event to utilize the ground,
That's
such
a-
as that.
That's a great idea, and that's something.
It's
that
a
should be
lot of
brought
money,
before the
they
board.
raised a lot of money there, and
Sure.
food,
Yeah.
it's $10 minimum
Sure.
per food, you know?
But that's also like a great reference that they had earlier. We want a board that can also have the best interest of the city too, where it's not just that group that makes a ton of money and that the city provides the expense of making sure we maintain the grounds and all of that, and then we lose and we don't have anything to pay the park to
Right,
maintain
I
all of it.
understand.
So that board is also gonna make sure that we hold all these groups accountable in the sense that if you are gonna have events and have your group and have your piece of the pie, that you need to be responsible to the city, that the city can maintain and do what we need to do from the back. So it's definitely gonna be, it's gonna help facilitate that both sides are represented well and fairly, is
And
what
also
that
make
comes
sure
down
they
to.
carry their insurance.
Yes,
You know,
yes, cause that,
it's
with
not
that kind of a
city
group,
won't
it'll
be-
be really important to have a certain level of insurance,
But
yes.
that's something to put before the board, you know, like,
Yep.
and they'll be looking for members, so I mean, that's awesome, that's a great idea.
Just thought I'd throw it out there.
There is some assumption of the city responsibility with a board like this. But for a long time, the city's not, they just let everybody do their thing. And,
Yeah,
so at this
okay.
point, we're trying to utilize that facility and all it entails more efficiently and have more events for the city. So that's what the goal of this board would be. And it's not a bad idea to have people that have some expertise from the different things on the board. But that, and the appointment to the board would come from this board. You submit your application, just like we do everything else. But it would be a regional board, not locked in, like the park board is locked in if you have to live in the city. That's statutory. This is a creation of Crawford, so we can kind of do what we want to do. So,
And it's my intention that any monies that come in from these events goes back into improving the facility.
I don't know that we can do that,
Yeah.
though, because it goes to general fund.
I think you could hope that that's, while you're on the board, you can.
Right.
Right.
That
That
could be
could
your
change
intention,
when
yeah,
the faces up here change.
correct.
But how this will be created, there'll be an ordinance, this is just a discussion point tonight, there's an ordinance, it's already been worked on a little bit, which we'll work on some more, it'll come back to the council for approval publicly, when it's, some of the finer points are hammered out for after we discussed it a little bit.
I think a lot of these different groups, they were started such a long time ago that they've also went through their waxing and waning of having a ton of volunteers to really whittle it down to a select few anymore. And a lot of these groups just don't have the support and don't have the volunteers that they once had. And so that we're finding as we come across this, more and more, those groups come back to the city and say, hey, you know, we used to be able to do all this all ourselves, but we're gonna have to have help maintaining the lawn, or we need help mowing, or we need help. And as that comes back to us more, you know, the city has to absorb the cost of that. And so we're hoping that, you know, with this board, they can help facilitate maybe the shared use of volunteers, whatever that may be, or at least, you know, helping to recruit events that maybe can generate funds to help pay for what those additional costs that the city is facing, because we've run out of volunteers. And that's a lot of the appeal about having a board that we custom create, that we can pull from outside of the city limits. We've had a long standing of people wanting to be a part of boards and not being able to because they don't reside within city limits. Anything else?
Do we, you say you gotta make gotta get the ordinance?
It's gonna be an ordinance. This is
Together,
just a discussion.
just discussion, so
Yep, yep,
we
yep.
can just move this to the next
So
meeting.
if we wanted to, you could make a motion
Make
to
a
move
motion
forward
approve- Yeah, move forward with the ordinance.
with the creation of, yeah. Is that what you'd like to do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Back and forward.
Motion from Prom and a second from Dean to move forward with the creation of the Activity Complex Board. Do I have roll call, please?
Prom?
Yes.
Dean?
Yes.
Gaston?
Yes.
We can move forward to number 12, open bids and award bid for demolition and removal of balloon building. I believe we received 2 of those. Jane, if you would open those. Thank you.
Thanks, Todd.
For removal of balloon building, cost for demolition of the building, removal of all metal and wood from structure and contents, but does not include removal of any concrete. From Ray Super is $5,000. From Modern Tech Renovations, demolish 80 by 40 building includes removal of all building materials and debris, removal of existing concrete foundation pad, dirt work done with grass seed planted but not maintained, is a total of $12,400. Insurance provided upon approval.
Okay. So each one of the bids stands just a slightly different, so they are not 100% compatible, but I guess I need discussion and recommendations.
With this demolition, I understand you want it done before the 1st of September. Unlike when we sold the fire hall for $1, they tore it out and then gave it back. What's the repercussions for not having that out of there by 1st September? There's gotta be some sort of a clause in that, okay, now we knock off $1,000 a day for every day that you're not.
Sure, that's a great perspective.
That way, it's a done deal.
Sure.
And in that
More to
same,
ensure the deadline.
in that same, I know you guys are probably gonna tear it down. That's your own decision, but I did get a quote to put new purlins and tin roof on it, whole building. But it's quite a little more, but you would have a usable building. I contacted a construction guy, and he says that building, other than where the roof is at, is 80% sound, very sound, other than the roof. And I know you guys have been talking about tearing it down. That's just a different perspective here. If you were interested in getting a building that is usable and the city actually owns it, and that's the end of the story, you'd have a usable building to put all the equipment in.
Forgive me, I've never heard the
Something to
word
think
purlins
about.
before. Is that rafters then?
Pardon?
You said purlins, is that the same as rafters?
That's what your tin sits on. That goes from rafter to rafter to
Okay,
rafter.
so it's not the rafters, because the rafters do need to be replaced.
No,
It goes
they
in
don't.
between the rafters.
No, the rafters aren't needing replaced.
And they're
It's
not
the
in good shape,
purlins that are bad. The rafters are sound. The purlins and the tin obviously have to be replaced.
Kevin said he was up there and the rafters were soft.
Well,
So he couldn't
maybe,
get a screwed anchor.
was he going to the purlins or was it going to the rafters? I don't know.
Well, thank you for that perspective, Roy, we appreciate it.
I guess, Roy, my thing is, okay, we do this, we put a ton of money into this and fix it up, and then, you know, I think we've discussed, and we haven't, and it's been on this, for the city. I would love to, if I'm on the board, I would love to get that property developed on here. So we put money into that, and we end up 2 years down the road having to demolish the thing again, because
Well,
we're gonna.
I don't know if that would be the case. It's kind of like when you buy a house, when you fix your property, that makes your property worth more. Whoever bought that property or might want to buy it, they may use that building while they're fixing that property. It could be an asset to have a decent
Sure.
building.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, don't shut the door. Think about this, because,
We have a really short window is our problem.
well, that can be resolved by, you know, you say it's an eyesore, and that's fine, you know, not fine. But that can be resolved with, yeah, it's not perfect, but nothing's perfect, but you could put a gray canvas or tarp over it so it looks like tin. I know, wrinkle your nose at it, but that is an option until you decide what you would possibly wanna do, so.
Well, I kind of think you should leave it and fix it rather than tear it down, because if you did get a developer, number one, like he said, they could use it, and they could rent it out for golf cart storage or extra vehicle storage or things like that. It might be an asset to a developer, because it's gonna take them a long time. By the time and they're gonna have to have multi-million dollars to get water and sewer and all the infrastructure in there, and they could park their own equipment in there until they get it finished. Then if they still have a use, they can use it. I think the city ought to use it for their equipment.
That building hasn't been used for a long time.
Well, that's not the
It
building.
has,
Well,
it has,
you
it's
need
been
it.
out there for years and years and hasn't been used.
And that's the city's fault. It was usable.
8 years
George
ago,
used it
they
all the
kept
time.
the trucks in there for snow removal. I used to do snow removal here about 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's where my truck was parked in there.
Well, I think your truck, you did still remove your truck was in the truck.
It's just a different perspective here. I know you guys have probably made up your mind and whatever, but
We haven't-
sometimes it's good to, you know, if somebody wants to see something, you gotta have a resolution for it. I got a bid from a guy out of Fort Collins to come in and do all that, and yes, it is expensive, but you have an asset then. It's not a knee-jerk reaction, oh, that's ugly, tear it down.
I know, but all you addressed was the perlers and the tin, that's all you addressed, so we're telling you, I'm pretty sure you're gonna have to replace them rafters also.
Then have somebody look at it. I know we don't have time. You can say that. The construction guy said those rafters are fine. The purlins is what everything's attached to. I know you attach to the rafters also, but those rafters are sound. According to him, a construction guy. I didn't get up. I didn't get up there and look at
I'm
it,
going off of what Kevin told me.
but just a different perspective I'd like to see you guys.
So I'm just curious, what was his bid?
It was $41,000 for a new roof. But you gotta think of it, it's a usable building that's an asset to your own property. That's actually usable for the city. And if that's not you guys' idea of protecting the city equipment and everything, then fine, demolish it. It is an eyesore the way it sits. But just worth thinking about
So
something.
there again, okay, you put $41,000 into this building, you're gonna get your money back out of it? Is this something you would do if you were a property owner? Would you put $41,000 into that building?
Would I?
Yes.
Yes,
Definitely.
definitely would.
You think you get your money back out of it
Yeah.
if you had to sell that today?
Yeah.
I don't agree with you. I don't think you get your money out of it.
couldn't
Well-
put that building back up for twice that.
No, that's a good point. I don't see that you get your money. It's just a.
Well,
What we're looking in long term, and that's where I have an issue here, is long term, not tomorrow, but long term. That's where a lot of our decisions have had problems in the years being, is we can't get past next year or next Tuesday or whatever it is. We need to look 5-10 years down the road. That's where I'm at. That building, if it has anything with this council, will not be there. And that will be put up as a development. People say, okay, you provided for a company to come in and put their equipment in. I can't say yay or nay. I've seen a lot of construction companies come in and do dirt work, and I don't see any of them put their equipment indoors.
well, I know that this is you guys' call, and that's your opinion. There's other opinions here too. I hope you're listening to them.
And I am listening to it, we
I-
all are. I agree with you.
I
We're
understand.
having a discussion about this.
Good.
I wanna get
It's
your
the only reason I
input,
brought it up,
and
discuss it.
And we've got their input. I just don't know that you're looking long-term is what I'm getting at here.
I feel I am looking long-term. You feel the opposite, that's nature, you know, people are gonna disagree.
No, I know.
But in my perspective, that is an asset. If you fix that, that makes that property worth more. Maybe not to you, maybe not to him, but to somebody, that's worth a lot more. If it was my property, yes, I would fix that building.
I think you're putting too much
It's
of
gonna be,
a time limit on
it's
this,
gonna be a lot,
this event coming up, that you want it
there
done
is
by.
that, that's
I think you're-
not my issue.
It's less of an eyesore and more of a liability.
It's a liability.
There's a lot of people
Right.
that be out there next to
It is
it and it's
not-
not safe.
Yeah, that is a part of it, but that is not my issue here.
And there is zero money to fix it.
And you're looking at probably, okay, 40,000 just, and that didn't include the rafters. So if we gotta replace them rafters, and I'm going off what I'm being told. I haven't climbed up there.
And
So,
neither
If
have
we
I.
gotta replace them rafters and stuff, and I don't know what, I don't know what else in there, you're looking at 60, 70, 80,000.
More than that.
So,
But I'm saying,
yeah, and we don't,
you haven't looked at it, I haven't looked at it.
Well, something
Maybe
else,
somebody
let's
with
not
some-
forget, how old is that building?
40+ years.
A long, long time.
it's
And
longer
over the
now.
years, there's no doubt, there's places down there where there's rock.
Right,
And it's up by the rafters, and it's also down on the plate. So,
yeah,
you can't say that there isn't some rock in it.
And
There
that's,
is,
and that's
yeah.
why he said, it's 80% strong. But there are some places where it leaked through that haven't been taken care of. And so you have to account for that, but structurally sound, 80% is pretty good.
I just don't know where we come up with the money to do it in the first place. We don't have the funds.
It's uninsured.
It is uninsured. There's a liability at this point, like April said. Mrs. Graham, excuse me.
I go back to what you're saying.
And I, you know, right now, the way this council is we're trying to cut non-essential. And it is non-essential. We haven't used it. Yeah, you can argue the point, but we have not utilized that property. And it's underutilized, and it's, I wanna see it gone. I wanna see it developed. Keep paying it is not gonna cover it. It hasn't. So I'm looking down the road and the cost effect, and I don't see putting $80,000 into an old building, we're ever gonna recoup it. I just don't. So I vote, I vote that we accept the 12-4. That'll clean everything up, reseed it. I don't know, the concrete issue, I don't wanna have a foundation sitting out there also. While we fund this, I don't know.
I think we need
And
to,
with what,
I think we need to compare these a little bit more, cause,
we're gonna have to make a decision here pretty soon. We're right knocking on door.
right, but we have a $5,000 bid and a $12,000 bid.
$5,000 was for that, without concrete removal?
Right.
It's just the pad on the north side, it's not the whole building does not have a pad, it's just the back patio area that has the pad.
It's $150 to $180 a ton for concrete right now to get rid of it.
We have a pile.
Correct.
It still has to go,
It does not, it can go to our yard that we have.
Yeah, we've got a place for that.
and that's not gonna cost the community money to,
No,
No.
for that concrete removal or disposal or whatever?
no.
No,
Okay.
we have a loader and a dump truck and a pile of concrete already.
And
So
will the
you
city,
think the 5,000?
will the city reseed and landscape, flatten it?
It's already flat, so it's not really gonna be a lot
No,
of
it's
dirt
not
work.
just all flat. By the time you take that concrete out,
There's
there's
not gonna be a
addition.
lot of dirt work.
Okay,
Yeah.
there'll be some,
There'll be some.
and reseeding.
Who is the second bidder?
Modern tech?
Modern Tech,
It's Calvin Parkinson's business, it's his construction for a business.
he did have a big question when he turned us in, do we have anything left in the building that we want? Somebody should probably check that. If we don't know.
Just, I'm just saying, please put, if you're on a time frame, please put, if it isn't out of there done by,
Roy, I think
Such
we
and such
understood you
time.
quite well, I think we
Okay.
understood what you meant, and we appreciate
in your
it.
motion though, that needs to be in there.
Yeah, but
It
then
wasn't
understood what you
advertised
meant.
that way
That's,
though.
that's not how it
We
was
understood
bid.
what you
Yeah.
meant.
And by the time I get a contract to him to sign, it ain't gonna be September 1st. I'm just being realistic.
I thought that was the idea, is to have that out of there.
It is,
before.
but to complicate it with additional asks that we did not ask in the original bid would lengthen the time before they can start.
We keep kicking this down the road and that's
Mhm.
issues.
Yeah, I think we should accept the $5,000 bid.
Second motion.
That was raised, right?
So
How soon did,
that's gonna leave that foundation out there.
It's just under the front porch, it's not the whole building, it's just the pad that
Oh,
is
it's
underneath
just
that
a
whole
whole
building.
building? It is a whole
I don't
barn?
think you've been out there.
It's just the cement that's
I think
underneath
it's all the way
that.
around.
didn't-
And
that
that's-
wall
it's
area.
2 feet all the way around
No, it
inside.
does not have a
They'd have to look.
foundation.
Okay, well, yeah, then that makes sense, yeah, it's all, is that right, Ray? I mean, it's
It's
all
dirt
pole
floor.
building, it's all dirt floor and it's all pole, that there isn't a foundation underneath it?
where's the concrete at?
Where's the concrete?
Concrete, there are two spots. One of them is under the office, which is maybe a 10 by 12. And clear back in the northwest corner is another little slab,
Okay,
maybe 10 by 10.
yeah, then that makes sense.
Well, okay, there is, I don't know if you've been out there, but there's a foundation all the way around that building.
Stem wall.
Yes, there is,
That-
but also.
That the pole barn
Whenever
sits
they
on.
built that building, they went to a trencher, and they trenched maybe 2 or 3 feet deep, we don't know how deep. But anyway, they made a trench, and then they set their forms on top of the ground and poured everything. So underneath the walls that you can see, there's a trench down at least 2 or 3 feet deep.
18 inches wide at least. In the base.
So that's men out of there. It's
But it's,
well, the city has a big front end loader.
but
They
it's
have
under,
backhoe.
it's underground, or it's, you say
It's footings.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, and everybody says that it's not, it's a pole building.
Well,
So we do have footings on
You
it.
can't see it.
Yeah, there's
but
footings
it's under the wall.
below the ground
It's a trench.
and about 3 foot
Okay.
above the ground.
Okay,
And then the building
that's
sits
what I
on
was
that.
wanting to know, yeah.
Now you know.
So that,
City has a big front end loader.
yeah.
They got a backhoe and they got a jackhammer.
Yeah. They're asking 3 people to tear into that, and that's gonna be, it's gonna be a job. But if you,
It's
can you
not
get it out
ours.
by 1st September?
He's not taking the phone to it.
No, the rest, the building itself.
Yeah.
You can get it out by 1st September? Can you get the building out by 1st of September?
Oh, I'll start tomorrow. I hope so. And it depends on the weather and it depends
Oh,
on
100%.
the Amish crew.
Well, if putting you to work gives us another 6 inches of snow or whatever, then get busy.
But within a week, I'm sure within a week, we can have it.
All right.
So I'm move forward with the motion. Is there any way to Ray Sugar?
Okay,
Awesome.
a motion to accept Ray Sucre's bid of 5,000 by Dean, seconded by Franz. Roll call, please.
Dean? Franz?
Yes.
Is it too late to ask a question?
You can ask a question, I don't know if it applies.
Can another bid be put in,
No, it was advertised and we had to open tonight.
but in the original thing, wasn't it, remove everything, concrete, all building materials and everything?
We just said the building.
Just the building?
We advertised it had to be in the file, whether what they, because they both brought us something different. We evaluate what they bring us and those are the choices we have. We can't accept anything that's not taken through the
Well, I
office
just
within
think
the
this one
time.
with no concrete removal is quite lower than the other one.
And that happens.
I'm sure he would, if there was no concrete removal, his
He
bid
had
was,
that choice. He didn't have to, it's not that specific in the bid ask. That's what he put into it.
but. he was under
I
the-
understand what you're alluding
He's
to.
under-
I do
under the
understand what you're alluding
understanding
to.
that
It's just, it was not,
concrete
it was not
removal.
advertised with those specifics. Those are the specifics he chose to put in his bid as the way he wrote it. And that's acceptable.
Well, wasn't it complete removal, that would be concrete and everything, dirt work, that, if there's concrete there, you've gotta remove the concrete to be dirt. I'm not trying to,
We didn't
So-
ask for those specifics. We asked for.
That's for demolition and removal of the balloon building.
That's it. They can provide what they wanna provide to make that happen.
okay,
Thank you.
Once
Number-
the structure's gone, then we have the equipment or to remove what's left.
Right.
And we also have a motor grader that can blade it down.
13. Accept final bid for the sale of the old fire hall located at 220 Elm Street. This last Friday, we went ahead and did it was like a silent bid type auction at City Hall. Bids opened at 1. We had the bid sheet, we had 2 bidders, and it closed at 2. It closed at 2 with Flushies LLC, Tyler and Teresa Craig at $22,500.
What was the name?
Flushies, Tyler and
Tyler
Teresa Craig, they bought the Lemons
Lemons.
septic,
Oh, okay.
and so they'll be putting that in down there, and then we'll have This is from,
So you just need a motion to accept the.
To accept.
motion to accept the bill, yep.
Accept the bid.
And they did leave us, the 10% that we requested, and then everything would be finalized after 30 days from today.
30-day remonstrance period.
22.5, is it?
Correct.
30-day remonstrance period, then we'll close the service.
Motion by Dean, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Gaston.
You need to see this, Brian?
Roll call.
No.
He was there.
That was it.
Dean, he attended.
Yes.
Gaston.
Thank you, guys.
Crom. Thank you.
Yes.
Number 14, discuss, approve, disapprove repair of road grader. There's two estimate options. They are a little bit different. I believe it's the one from Murphy that include additional pulling work. So they aren't 100% comparable, but we can consider either.
So. I guess we don't know what he's,
So
the
the-
first guy's putting in versus.
So the first one is on the barcode here, barcode pad.
Walter Field repair.
Yes, that's what it is. And it is for, to replace the belts and the labor. And then when Murphy bid it, they said if we're gonna go as far as the belts, it would be great to replace the pulleys at the same time. And so this was their suggested, additional bid. That's how that ran.
And in Murphy's little email letter, which I may not have included, but he says, he needs the belts replaced, but while I was there to look at it, so I could get the right belts, I noticed the oil cooler on the side of the engine is leaking pretty good, so I added a segment for that as well. You do not have to do that segment, but I wanted to let you know about it while we would be there, it would be the best time to fix it at the same time.
Oh, okay.
And it's not a, yeah, it's, the extended on that is what, 133, nope, it's gotta be more than that.
That was from Murphy's?
Yeah, it's on the second
Miscellaneous
page.
charges?
Yeah, it's the second page where it says the complaints was the rear seat engine, reseal engine oil cooler. And then the original replace belts is on the first page, so it rolls over to the second. So it would be to add, it'd be originally $844.88, and the segmented additional pricing would be $675.
That's labor.
Is that,
That's the
oh, that's your labor, okay,
Parts
sorry.
169.88.
So, but total.
The second one would be the 930, no, that's not it either.
Total is.
I don't see where he has that other. Right,
Most
but
of
I'm
it-
trying to figure out what it is just
most
for the
of it's
second,
in labor.
is it just the 937 for that next one? Okay, yeah. Right, you're right, most of it is in labor. I think it could be seven. Keep in mind, we do need to be mindful of what we need to match for highway allocation spending. We do have some that we need to spend within the street department in order to make sure that we're spending our share, to make sure that we qualify for as much as we can for highway allocation. And so, it is within our budget right now to do either. Because he does have a good, we'll go over that when we get to budget, but he does have a good chunk that he's working on putting his wish list together and for us to discuss that at our budget meeting, to know what he wants to, which projects he wants to complete before the end of the year with what is remaining for that highway allocation spending that we need to do.
Where is this Walter Field repair
That's
from?
the gentleman on Chadron.
Chadron.
Yep.
That's
So-
this one.
Yes.
Swan uses him almost exclusively now for equipment repair. And, the county has been using him. He used to work for either Murphy or Cat.
Yes. And you could ask him to consider the other option too.
I am a fan of while you're in there,
Right.
replace.
Yeah, preventive maintenance is what it's called.
Right.
I-
Cause they have to,
I'm wondering why he didn't.
I think this thing has, how many belts? Well, belts
Set.
set, but it's got, I think it's got 4 or 5 belts. That you have to disassemble.
Has he, did he come in and inspect this, or did he's just going off of what you guys said need to be done, that Tim said need to be done, or did he come look at this? I mean, these guys
This is just
said
a
we have to
template.
replace the pulleys and always, how are they coming up with that? I mean, nobody knows, they haven't even listened to it, so. I think we go
I asked for
with,
an estimate from this gentleman because
Okay.
he is local and he, like I said, the county's using him, Swan's
If
using
there's a
him.
problem, let you know.
yeah, that's where I'm at, there we go.
And
If
he'll
we've got,
fix it.
if we've got stuff that needs to be addressed, then.
If we would like to consider him, but want him to consider what was listed on the other, that's acceptable to request also.
Yes, that's where I'm at.
Yeah,
I think we,
For what you did.
right, I think that we,
and it's still, they're both still low enough options, but it's
I think
something
we,
And we wouldn't be paying a tech from Scottsbluff.
for sure, yeah, $650 to drive up here, crazy. So, yeah, I think I move that we accept the Walter Field repair bid and ask him to address the other issues.
The engine cooler?
Yes. The cooler, and then he's got, yeah, that cooler, he's got gaskets, what are the gaskets for? Reseal engine oil cooler. So,
Okay,
I can look at that.
so, Crom has made a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Gaston seconds, roll call. Crom?
Yes.
Gaston? Dean?
Yes.
So Walter Field will ask him to, do both of the assessments, so, okay. Number 15, discuss, approve, disapprove requirement of the deputy clerk to be bonded. You wanna elaborate a little bit on
It
that?
would just be a new requirement.
Yep.
USDA was asking for more than the usual bond stuff we used to be happy with. And it just got us to talking about, you know, as much cash as the deputy clerk handles
Sure.
and everything. Jake said you can do a position bond, it isn't person specific. But I know the clerk bond is like $300 or
Yeah, it's
something.
not too bad for the assurance that it gives us.
I would think so, and now that we're changing deputies, it might be a good time to start
Reassess.
requiring it.
Any questions or comments?
I'll move to approve.
No, second.
Moved by Dean, seconded by Franz. Roll call.
Dean?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Gaston?
Yes.
Thank you. 16, discuss, approve, disapprove disposition of the library loans CD, matures on 8/16/26.
Can you tell me which CD that's for?
Says library.
Oh, the library one, yeah.
Allow.
Because I did her estate. She left a fourth for the library, a fourth to the
Okay,
cemetery.
this is, that's just library.
And a
so-
fourth to community building, I can't remember. But I was just wondering, is it still a full amount or have you?
This just says library.
Says,
They've used parts of it.
Haven't used, well, good.
I do have a little information, I think
Okay.
Bashy was not planning on sticking around this long. But their board just wanted to let it roll over. However, the best, like we had said, the best interest rate available, so just today Shirley said, the best right now is 3 months at 3.6% rate, APY would be 3.65. The 6 month is only 3.55 and the year is 3.45, so the best interest is for the 3 month one.
Okay.
If they don't mind going through this again. in 3
Again, in
months.
3 months?
Yeah.
That's not too bad. If
So
that's
it
worth
sounded like
making a
that's
little more money.
Probably what they'll do.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
motion to approve the 3-month CD.
Okay, motion by Dean, do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Second by Gaston for the 3 month. Roll call please.
Dean?
Yes.
Gaston?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Thank you. Number 17, discuss, approve, disapprove the treasurer's report.
We have received all of our highway allocation that has been held until the audit is done, so that is good. Our combined deficit of the governmental funds grew again this month, you know, last month it was only 4,000 and change, but 4,415. But we did have a 3-week payroll, which bites a little bit with the budget. We paid a final payment on the road grading. Sorry,
No, that's
I'm not sure, no,
Back
I'm not
up.
sure what that means. Anyway, the
Yeah,
big
back
ones
up.
was the Foxter payment for the public transportation thing. That was $13,925 that we have not gotten reimbursed yet for. So obviously that would be part of the, since it's at a -19.9 now, it's -20,
Mhm.
the 13.9 that was just for that. The front end loader had a fuel issue and that was $1,400, but, so there's a reason why it's growing, it's just a little discouraging to see the deficit growing again. What else is worth mentioning? Highway allocation, we will need to be spending some money. We try to get by, you know, frugally all year, and then if no catastrophes happen, we have some pot left to spend at the end of the year, and that's where we're at. So Tim will come up with some priority of needs, and we can take that.
How much are we gonna spend, you know?
Well, I don't know how much he's gonna have in bills the rest of this month, but right now, it would be in the neighborhood maybe of, assuming that we still have 13,000 or so probably that we'll get in September. And it must be more than we were projected to get because of fuel prices, I'm guessing. So when you take 125%, if we need to spend down, we need to go another 30 to 40,000.
So we can easily do the maintenance request that he's wanted. We've got, you know, extra gravel and whatnot that I'm sure will be on his list.
Yes, yes.
We kind of had that in mind when we, did the project on Third, yep, and that's exactly what Jane and I discussed earlier today, is we thought that maybe this would be a great time to, bite off 1 or 2 storm sewers, just to make a dent in that. Taking a section out of 4th Street between Fremont and Reed that's been severely overdue. And I think there's another spot, in order to make that more of a full cement load. There's another spot that Tim pointed out that he wants to pull up at that same time, over in front of the Catholic Church. I think it's just, I think it's north of that intersection is the next chunk that he would like to, and we think that that is only a cement problem, that it's something we can just tear up and make more of a full load to get our full expense out of. So if we can, you know, knock out a couple projects around town and make it feel like we got our money's worth, and it's something that's visual and more obvious as opposed to just knowing that we paid more in fuel and not knowing where it went, that's kind of encouraging to see.
Can we address that bump on Main Street going out of town as well?
These other two were substantially larger.
I understand that, but I just don't know.
And part of it is we can discuss that with him on our budget meeting. But we have asked him to have that prepared, his wish list prepared to come and see what we'd like to prioritize as far as spending before the end of the year. I mean, it'll matter on what we have for manpower. We're down another guy now. Availability, yeah, and that's something that could be potentially, issued out, contracted out, so that we wouldn't have manpower issues with that, so. But yeah, he's working on that right now, and he hopes to get that to us. I think his meeting's is it tomorrow or next week? Is this tomorrow? Right? Or next week? We already met with him, so it'd be the final one that we talked to him about it.
Jane, you said there's an allocation from the state for our street, where's that at?
That's just our highway allocation
I know,
funds in general.
where's that caused into, where's that show?
On the detailed budget report, you'll see a line item for it. This summary one isn't gonna show it specifically.
Oh,
It's
So
part
it's
of the
not on
street,
here.
it's part of the street revenue, it's got its own line item on the full detailed report.
'cause I don't do,
And it's It's scheduled to be $151,866, and we've gotten $248. We should get another 13,000, that brings up to 162. So, the other item, I couldn't read my own writing for a second, the final payment on the rodeo grounds, that for $4,500 was another big,
Jumped a foot recently.
unusually large expense. this
Right.
past month.
And the
Not
sale,
overly, but
the sale of the tailgate, so that just goes into your general then? Is that where that's allotted then,
For the fire hall.
for the firehouse?
Well, the
or-
fire hall.
That's where it will go.
yeah.
That's where it goes, so we,
That will help with cash flow in the.
right, that's, yeah, okay,
True, that's a good thing.
Yes, so that'll help make all of that.
okay.
Because having to spend the highway allocation money does hurt our cash flow and stuff, but we do wanna, you get the highway money, you gotta spend it on streets.
Right, yeah,
So-
yeah, okay. All right, I move that we approve the treasurer's report.
Okay, thank you, Fran, do I have a second?
I'll second motion.
Thank you, Gaston. Roll call.
Ron,
Yes.
Gaston,
Yes.
sorry, Dean.
Yes.
Okay, and then now we will go back to, oh yeah, I guess we can do that real quick, huh? Do I have a motion to approve bills, claims, requisition orders, and transfers?
Make the motion.
Okay, Dee, do I have a
I'll
second?
second it.
Roll call. Dean?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Gaston?
Yes.
Thank you for that. We'll move back to number 7, which we've kind of redid 18, 19, whatever we call it. Disapprove resolution 2026-21 for the sale of Ponderosa Villa.
Mayor, I'm gonna ask for an executive session to discuss legal strategies.
Sounds great, thank you. Do I have a motion to enter? Is that what I need?
Motion to enter executive session.
I'll second that.
Motion to enter at 7:27 by Dean, seconded by Fran. Roll call. Dean?
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Gaston.
Yes.
We have a 7:27.
Thank you. Okay, second, right?